Chevron is a leader. Halliburton is a leader. Lockheed Martin, and for many people, a massive opportunity for wealth, if you can control it. So Bechtel is one of the first companies to jump on the water privatization bandwagon. When they got the reconstruction contract for Iraq, at the same time the U.S. was changing Iraq's economic policies to allow for privatization. So Bechtel was hoping for the big privatization contract. So we shut down Bechtel's world headquarters the day the war started. We showed up every week from that point on. Bechtel was embarrassed in the press every single day.
Yeah.
Bechtel was forced to answer in a way that I've never seen a corporation answer to our charges. They would come down with fact sheets listing our points and refuting them. And they would hand them out to the press. I've never seen it in my life. Listed on their website, their refutations of our claims. Trying to step out in front of our media to refute our claims. At the end of the day, after constant organizing, Bechtel, which has been based in San Francisco for 100 years, left San Francisco. Couldn't stand being there anymore. The Bechtel building is still there, but it's not called the Bechtel building anymore.
Wow.
Moved to Maryland, so those of you who have a new home.
My turn now.
Your turn.
Yeah.
And withdrew their Iraq contracts as a result of organizing.
Wow.
Chevron has been less easily moved. The big, big, big prize in Iraq is the oil. I'm actually going to get back to that.
What organization were you out there protesting?
We were with a group called Direct Action to Stop the War. It was just local organizing, local community activists. A lot of us were involved in anti-corporate globalization work and so had background in that type of protest. But it was really just weekly meetings, started off small, got bigger, got bigger, got bigger. The protest started small, got bigger, got bigger, got bigger. The information spread. It was very organic, well organized, but an organic spread. And it succeeded. Halliburton has become a household name. It wasn't. The organizing targeted on Halliburton has been incredible. From all corners of different types of organizing to expose not only Halliburton's profits, but the link to Cheney, which not everyone knew. And there have been hearing after hearing after hearing now held in Congress on Halliburton's actions. They have sought to try and distance themselves from new contracts, but they're still a target that has yet to be fully exposed. Blackwater, the private security company, that's estimated that the privatization of the U.S. military is a huge issue, and it's another element in corporate organizing. Blackwater is a name that nobody knew anything about. Their presence in Iraq as private security was meant to be secret. When Fallujah happened, and it was Blackwater employees who had the horrific, terrible events that happened in Fallujah, the first press was that these were just guys, right? If you remember this, they're just guys in a truck. There's nothing important about them. There's nothing special about them. They were just guys in a truck. So they're referred to as contractors. And, however, in response to the horrific deaths of these contractors, the United States laid siege to Fallujah. And slowly but surely the truth about who Blackwater was came out. And more importantly, the fact that there's essentially a counter-military. It's estimated that there are 100,000 private security contractors, almost as many troops. The campaign on Blackwater has been a campaign of exposure, and one of the things that it has done is make people aware to the fact that the laws that were changed in Iraq by the U.S. government made it so that any contractor could not be held liable to Iraqi law. The Chevron logo flashes on the screen, and then in between the logo, you see solar, wind, geothermal, and that's Chevron. And they got print ads, they're magazines. They are trying to convince us that they're, one, not an oil company,
Oh, God.
but two, that they're part of the solution. And the reason why they feel the need to do that is because oil companies are so hated, and that affects their bottom line. And so they spend millions of dollars on propaganda, which means that they are weak when it comes to their public persona. And that the more that we can do to highlight that the war for oil is also a war for corporations, the more we can get them to think twice about, for example, putting in the billions of dollars that it costs them to support this war, to support the candidate, to support its continuation.
You know the actual figures as far as how much Chevron spends on alternative sources of fuel compared to oil?
Yes, I do. In its last year's budget, Chevron, which was actually one of the best of the major oil companies, spent less than 2% of its expenditures on all forms of alternative energy. And for Chevron, that includes things like frontier hydrocarbons, which are the tar sand oil and oil shale oil, one of the most the dirtiest forms of oil production that exists right now. That's part of their alternatives.
So that's their focal point in their marketing strategy.
Yeah.
It's an alternative.
So
It's worse than the mainstream stuff.
it's
That
way
makes
worse.
it an
But it's an alternative. It's different.